Today is my birthday. So I turned 28 today, and I got my little balloons because, um, you know, given the circumstances of my life, I know many of you have to act like y'all don't know what it is, but I think I've remembered having like bad birthdays, and I mean, I guess famously known for forgetting birthdays or whatever the case may be. But honestly, I kind of don't care at this point, just because it's like, do we want to celebrate the birthdays of bullies? Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation for another time. But I think as people, we put so much pressure on giving other people power in terms of making us happy. I think we want people to have these elaborate, well thought out birthday parties and celebrations and gifts and all these things. And then when it doesn't happen the way you want it, you know, we're just so disappointed because this person didn't show up for you the way you wanted them to. And this birthday was special for me because I said, regardless of anything that goes on in the world, I'm going to do everything in my power to celebrate myself and make this a birthday where I take happiness into my own hands. And I did that, and I'm proud of myself for that. And I share that for anybody that might be going through a situation of loneliness. And say you might have birthdays or holidays or occasions that you want to celebrate with people, but you might not. You might be in a space of like isolation or alienation, or just not really being in a community of people that you want to be in. I implore you to take happiness into your own hands. And because you know what you like to do, you know what you like to eat, you know what you like. And even if that's like taking yourself out on a date, if that's just doing simple things for yourself, like for me, like I've said on here multiple times, like, and I've shown it. I mean, as you can see from the decor, like I like flowers, and so I buy myself flowers from time to time when I can. And I like re-upped on my favorite perfume. And so like it was little things, and and I like baked myself a pie, a birthday pie. And and I did those little things to make my birthday special. Um and and I knew, I was like, because I know there's going to be outside energies that's going to try to throw my energy off, and try to ruin my day or whatever the case may be. And it's unfortunate to expect those things, but like, I mean, let's be real about the circumstance here. um but regardless of that, I know I'm worthy of happiness. I know I'm worthy of joy, and I have the power to take that into my own control. And even if it has to come from me, I'm creating happiness for myself, and I'm creating joy in my own world. And the thing is, and also, like, I'm a very gracious and grateful person. Like, I speak to gratitude for everything. Like, even when I pray, even if I'm snacking on something, I usually speak to gratitude. I always say I eat this food with gratitude. And I try to be grateful for the little things, like the things that are often taken for granted. And I know there's things that I probably still take for granted. But I try to be grateful for the good things and the little things. And so, you know, the simple things like flowers, and smelling like my favorite perfume, or putting like a nice snack together, and just like watching a show or a movie or something like that, and setting a vibe, buying myself balloons. Like, I was like, regardless of anything, I'm going to do what I can to make this a special birthday for me. And so for me, I had this whole like goddess theme that was the vibe, and it's still the vibe. um and so yesterday I was like, look, this is going to be like a week affair for me. Because I don't know what's going to happen on my actual birthday. I knew it was going to be something. But regardless, anything that's in my power, I'm going to find a way to find joy and enjoy my birthday, because, you know, surviving as one of the most hated people on the planet, you know, I can't let other people's perceptions of me and other people's, you know, tactics and games and all those stuff. I can't let that cloud who I know myself to be. You know, like, people could be upset at me because what, I just turned 28. People could be upset at me of mistakes that I've made when I was 23, which is 5 years ago. You know, 5 years ago. And people grow, people change, people evolve. But, you know, there's this heavy narrative to cancel people and to, you know, attack and condemn people for mistakes that they've made in their youth, as if people don't grow every day, as if people don't change and evolve every day. And like I've said on here, every day I do the work to grow and to evolve into a better person, because I care to be. I care to be a good person. And, you know, and for a long time I would do it for the validation and the approval of other people. But for me, I was like, I have to love me. I can't depend on other people loving me. I can't give that power away. That's my power. My power is the love that I have for myself, and knowing that, you know what, Narisse, even the mistakes that you made that quote unquote made you the most hated person, where people betrayed you and all these things, you were still worthy of love even at your worst. And knowing that I was still worthy of redemption even at my least proudest moments, you know, and knowing that me at 28, I've grown and evolved into a more mature person. I'm wiser, I'm sharper, I'm smarter. You know, I and I'm proud of my growth, you know, and I should be, because it's not like I take time out of my life to, you know, strategically try to like diminish the character of people and cause harm and pain and trauma upon people. Now, there's mistakes that I've made where I may have done that unintentionally, but even in that, I know I've done everything in my power to make those situations right. And I can't convince people to love me. I can't convince people to, you know, forgive me. But all I can do is recognize that within myself, love myself, forgive myself, give myself the grace to grow, and leave those people where they are, you know, and wish them well on their journeys. You know, and even if I deal with like daily unfair treatment because of it, you know, I know my heart. God knows my heart. I know I'm a good person. And, you know, something to what, you know, Chris Rock said in his special is like, you know, people have selective outrage. You know, if it's popular to hate on a person, you know, people are just going to hate on you just because it's the norm, it's the status quo, and that's what you're brainwashed into doing. And there's very few people that have the um very few people that have the balls really to stand up against the status quo and say no. Yeah, okay, a majority of people might be doing this, but this isn't okay, this isn't right, you know. And if it was somebody else that they just so happen to like, you know, say a artist who you got to the songs before you got to their character, or the mistakes that they made in their early 20s, but because you love the song so much you don't care, and it's like, oh well, you know, people make that mistake all the time. But, you know, it's selective. The outrage is selective. People want to hate who they want to hate because they've been brainwashed to hate a person and don't even give them the chance to get to know them. You know, some people are so conditioned to be like, oh, this girl is here, so we got to set up here. We got to, oh, make sure you touch your eye here. Make sure you touch your chest here, you know? And it's like, you don't even know me. You don't even know me. And, you know, and that's okay, because you lose the privilege of getting to know me. And even in my live streams, you see my character, you see who I am, you see my growth, you know. But people, if they're so hell-bent on trying to cause harm and be hateful, then that's really a true testament to other people's character more than it is mine. And, you know, that's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned approaching 28. And yeah, and, you know, just having the strength to be like, fuck it, I'm gonna love myself anyway. You know, I'm gonna validate myself, I'm going to uplift myself, And, you know, and again, like I've said before, I'm grateful for the people who challenge the status quo and challenge the hateful narrative and tone of culture right now. Like, you know, things definitely piss me off, and like I said this in a heated moment, but you know, imagine having a brand or being a part of a shop or a job, or, you know, or organization where you're known for, or the job, or, you know, the organization, the mission is to spread healing and love and, you know, respect for different people's cultures and forgiveness, and all these things, and thou shalt not kill, and all, you know, all these commandments, especially specifically for Christians. But imagine rising to fame and gaining notoriety because of dishonesty, playing along to an illusion, and spreading hatred and violence and spiritual warfare and abuse. But your brand and what you say you stand for is uplifting women and honoring different cultural beliefs and religions and stuff like that. But because you have one mishap with somebody that you say you love, that was a loved one, a friend, you know, instead of having that conversation, you're willing to play a part in creating a narrative that ushers in a generation of hatred, ushering in a generation of violence and abuse. You know, and although it might be popular, and although people might celebrate you for it, and, you know, and you might have clout and power because of it, but when the illusion falls and we just look at the morality of the situation, that's gonna be your legacy. Hatred, betrayal, spiritual abuse, manipulation. Is that a legacy to be proud of? You ain't gotta like me. But when you think of why people know who y'all are you proud of that? Yeah, it's popular. Yeah, you might get cosigns from some, you know, celebrities and all that stuff, and people play along with that and, you know, do the references in their films and movies and all. But when you really look at it, like, your legacy is ushering in bullying and hate and fear mongering and mental abuse and trauma. I don't know. It's something that was a thought of mine while I was preparing for my birthday.